obviously the aftermath of this tribal council sucks. I'm glad it wasn't me, but at the end of the day, I still would have wished that Isabella, Lydia, and I could have pushed a little bit harder. If Raul could have just flipped and wanted to do a big move, that was his opportunity. He could have done something on his own.
I mean, I'm sure that it crossed my mind. You know, there are times when James were like, hey man, we have 4 people over here. You just come over here and we can wipe them all out. And that was kind of tempting, but I also knew that was dumb.
So leading up to this tribal council is when I gave the signals to Lydia whether Jarrett had an immunity idol. And so I told her that he did. And then we were getting ready to sit down, and Jarrett was sitting right next to me. And you can kind of see, I was trying to be a little sneaky. I was like pointing, I was like, Jarrett, like I was in with them to vote Jarrett out. Only if they were in it with me. We could have definitely tied it because I knew that we were gonna vote Isabella. And so I wanted to tie that. If they were on board with me, I think I would have turned out way differently.
Lydia played her idol, thinking we were going to vote for her. But in reality, we all had voted for Isabella. So both idols were gone from that team. And so now we knew we could vote out James or Lydia.
It sucks that we got the idol play wrong again. I think had we figured out, or if any one of them fed any kind of information, we could have flipped the game on its head. That's another idol burned for no reason.
I told her I wasn't going to vote for her, but I voted for her. So she's probably really mad at me at this point. She has seemed really mad this whole morning. She got mad at me that I didn't tell her good morning and that I haven't talked to her. But there's a big target on my back. People are expecting me to team up with you, Isabella. And so if I team up with you, they're going to get rid of me. And like I said, unfortunately, you and I both can't win. And so if there's going to be a winner, it has to be me. You know, I'll take you to dinner if I win.
So, I don't really know what happened after the last vote. We managed to get Isabella out, but I received 2 votes, and Jarrett received 2 votes. We shouldn't have both received 2 votes. It was kind of a mess, but after Isabella going home, I figured nobody has any reason to want to flip to the minority now, so I just kind of brushed it off. But everybody else seemed like it was time to freak out. People started flipping out, and it seemed like people were actually getting their feelings hurt.
After poking them as best as we could, we were really hoping to get Catalina to jump on over with us, seeing as how they pretty much have her on the bottom of their alliance. I don't know how it's not more clear than that. Jarrett has pretty much just put her in the corner. Her best bet really would have been to just come with us earlier if Hannah and Isabella were still here. It's not too late. I'm hoping she still does. I haven't had that much time to talk to her, but I think if she wanted to make a big move, this is really the only opportunity left to do so.
Catalina got mad. She flipped out on everybody, pointing fingers left and right, just out of nowhere. And we all thought we had a good alliance with her. She just flipped, started going off on us.
I knew that when it came down to the end that they would choose Jarrett. So if I were to vote Isabella with my group, then we would vote out James and then Lydia. And then when it would just be me, Nathan, Matt, Raul, and Jarrett, I would be next to go.
I will never understand this, but somehow me and Jarrett each getting 2 votes made Catalina, of all people, completely lose faith in our alliance. She started freaking out. She was mad at us. She was crying. Catalina went from one of my most trusted allies in this game that I had worked with intimately for every single one of the votes to not even making eye contact with me. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
So when we were out there, I thought I could blame it on Raul. And I said Raul did it because before that I had told Matt that Raul was talking with James, Lydia, and AJ at the time when he was in the game in our egg toss, and that he was kind of planning with them. I didn't know that he was like talking behind their back and just getting information for Matt. I didn't know that. So I told Matt, I was like, hey, I don't think Raul is really with you guys. I am. I didn't talk to them at all. So I thought that I could blame it on him because of what I told Matt.
Someone, I don't know who, decided to vote for somebody else, and we all were like, okay, what's the plan? Like, who was it? And Matt immediately pointed to me. And I was like, okay, why are you doing that? I'm the one that basically said we should vote her out. Why are you saying it was me? And we just started pointing fingers. We were straight up arguing in each other's face, screaming at each other. And that was a moment that I was enraged. Like, I was really mad at Matt at the moment.
And it was just frustrating. She got mad at us, like, Nathan, Raul, and me. And then, I got frustrated because no one knew for a while who voted for him. And so, of course, Jarrett starts coming down on us. I think more Nathan and me about, like, well, why didn't you vote? Because he was always a little sussed out by us. And then you have, like, I was blaming Raul because Catalina was telling me that he was making alliances with James. And I didn't really believe it, but, when, someone flips, I was kind of trusting Catalina more at that time.
And then that's when Catalina came out. She was like, okay, guys, it was me. And that's when we were all like, why would you do that? Did you not stick to the plan?
So then after that, I knew it didn't work. So I just told everyone everything that I did.
Eventually, Catalina just admits, she was like, it was me that put down his name. And we were all dumbfounded and confused. And of course, that strengthened me and Raul. Raul and I went from like yelling at each other by a bonfire to, dapping each other up and being like, all right, brother, my bad.
So after all the chaos is unfolding, Catalina comes back to our tribe and she explains that she cast one of the votes for Jarrett for, and I'm quoting her here, fun. She cast a vote for Jarrett because she thought it would be fun. What?
She goes, oh, I did it for fun. And that's when all of us got mad at Catalina.
Hello? What just happened? She was so angry at him and was so annoyed by him, but for why? Hello? You're in a 5-man alliance with like everybody else on your tribe before, and then you flip to a weaker alliance. Someone that went from a 3-person alliance to a 2-person alliance. You have James and you have Lydia. Isabella just got voted off, and you're like, I'm gonna go with them. It's like, that doesn't make sense. But she was so frustrated with Jarrett and was so annoyed with Jarrett that she decided to flip.
Big blow up because, like we said, we're going to stay 5 strong and we have the numbers on them, so there's no point in flipping. Catalina has flipped and she wrote my name down, which I'm pretty offended about because I've showed her my idol. I've told her that I want her in the final 3. She evidently doesn't believe me, which I feel like I'm playing a good game right now. I feel like I could take her to the final 3. Catalina and Raul are the only ones that I've told that I would take them to the final 3. I haven't told anyone else. So I was pretty shocked. I was pretty hurt to see her write my name down. But obviously that means I'm a big threat, and can't say that I'm too surprised there.
At that point at our camp, I kind of just wanted to start drama because I knew that I wasn't the strongest out of all of them, but I definitely knew that I was the most loyal. And I didn't know where their head was at, whether they wanted who could help them in competitions or loyal to use them.
It's also interesting because Catalina, although she's pretty athletic, she's just not going to be able to hang in these competitions unless there's some level of luck. And so that being said, loyalty is her biggest asset, and she freely gave it away out of fear. And so it'll be interesting to see. I'm a little heated right now at her for doing that, but it'll be interesting to see how she'll do in this game, knowing that she just gave away her biggest asset, that being loyalty.
I mean, props to James and Lydia because they are working hard to make us freak out. James got so far inside Catalina's brain that he could have started redecorating her amygdala. James was telling Catalina exactly what to be mad about, and Catalina was verbatim repeating everything he said. He would go, Catalina, you should be mad about A, B, and C. And Catalina would turn to us and go, I'm mad about A, B, and C. It was like James was an actual ventriloquist, just telling Catalina what to say. I had no idea what happened. It seemed like the most obvious, desperate bluff in the history of desperate bluffs, but it was working. Catalina hates us now. And Raul hates Catalina. I'm over there trying to talk Catalina down. Go, it's okay, they're just bluffing. Come on, there's no reason for you to not trust us. And she's fuming at me, and then Jarrett comes up to me, and he's going, why are you talking to Catalina? She's dead to us. And I'm like, what the crap is going on? We were fine 15 seconds ago.
Nathan was just across from me. It was so funny because Nathan was like, he was like trying to calm me down. He was like, no, it's fine, you're still in with us. And I just kept going. He low-key looked worried, as if he still wanted me in his alliance just to use me, but I kind of knew that, but I didn't exactly know where all their heads were at. So at that point, I kind of just started some drama, and everyone was mad at each other because I didn't know where my alliance with Matt and Nathan and Raul really stood and if they were using me. So I tried a different route and it didn't work out, so I just told everyone my plan.
It was chaotic, it was stressful. I was the only one just completely tuning it out. Everyone was fighting. I couldn't believe what was happening. But at the end of the day, if Catalina wants to flip and make it a 3 versus 4 alliance, doesn't matter. She can do that. All she did was make it easier to decide who's going to the final 4 between her and Jarrett. Jarrett's in, Catalina's out.
There's one point where James and Lydia were sitting there, and James had the most beautiful smile because he knew he was just putting little kernels in everybody's brain. And he was just sitting there, and then they were both like, Catalina, come, and then Raul, you come, and then we'll flip on these guys because they're all, you know, Garrett is running that tribe. And of course, at that moment, you know, Nathan and I look at each other just like, okay, you know, because we wanted them to think that he was running that tribe for the entire time. I know Raul won't go, and hopefully Catalina can, you know, figure it out. But what a intense moment.
Here's how this challenge works. Gather around. Let Catalina get on in here. Alright, so listen up. This challenge is straight out of Survivor as well. It goes by a couple names, but most commonly folklore. Alright, so your goal in this challenge, I'm going to tell you a story. Alright, you have to remember as many details from that story as you can. Back there, once you cross this wood plank, you'll see it. Anywhere in that area, there are going to be 5 signs. Alright, on those signs, it'll have the question, and it'll have the answers, which are labeled. A, B, C on one sign, D, E, F on another. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to one sign, you're going to remember that letter, come back, write it down on this piece of paper. I'll tell you if it's right or not. If it's wrong, you got to go back and guess again. Okay? Alright, are you guys ready for this story? John Ross, born to a Cherokee mother and Scottish father, was the principal chief of the Cherokee Nation from 1828 to 1866. Described as the Moses of his people, Ross influenced the Indian nation through such events as the relocation to Indian territory and the American Civil War. During the War of 1812, John Ross served under the command of Andrew Jackson. After the war, he started a tobacco plantation in Tennessee. In 1816, he built a warehouse and trading post on the Tennessee River and started a ferry service. His business served as the start to a community called Ross's Landing, which is now Chattanooga, Tennessee. In 1816, Ross also turned to politics, and after learning from his mentors, Pathkiller, Charles Hicks, and Major Ridge, he traveled to Washington, D.C. to negotiate issues for the Cherokee. Ross's first action was to reject an offer of $200,000 from the U.S. to relocate voluntarily. The U.S. and the man Ross previously served under eventually signed the Treaty of New Dakota with a smaller treaty party, despite not having approval from Chief Ross or the Cherokee Council, and the Cherokee were required to leave by 1838. The Cherokee that refused to leave were forced to move along the Trail of Tears, which Ross's wife died traveling along. When the Civil War started, Ross advocated that the Cherokee remain neutral. However, they ultimately sided with the Confederacy and rejected treaties signed by the federal government. After the war, Ross traveled to Washington, where new treaties were signed, and Ross passed away there in Washington, D.C. on August 1st, 1866. All right, you guys got that? Locked it away. Ready?
Yep.
Go!
How do we do this?
You just write down the answer, show it to me.
How do you know what question we're asking?
I've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Gotcha. That's correct. Give it to me. Correct.
I went to Josh.
Correct. 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 Everybody's got it right.
For this one is I.
Write it down on a piece of paper.
Correct?
Incorrect.
What? Do I have to go back?
You have to go all the way back.
And can I say the second one?
No, you gotta go all
I
the way back.
memorized 2. Damn it.
Correct.
Isabella?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
This is all individual, right?
Yep.
Have you seen any cheating?
Correct. Correct.
Can I do another one?
No, you gotta go back, touch the sign.
Nathan gave me an answer, so can I write both?
No,
You gotta go back.
you gotta go back and get that sign. Correct.
Last is H.
Correct. Incorrect. Incorrect. Correct. Correct.
What's up, Brandon?
Correct. 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 Is that 4?
I don't know.
Correct.
What do I do?
Go back. Guess again. Are you calling it?
I'm trying to remember. What was the...
You gotta go all the way back to the
You
sign.
do?
Yeah.
Okay.
You knew he died?
Correct. What is that? Correct. Jarrett wins individual immunity. You're correct, thanks.
How many do you have? I think that was the last one.
All right, Jarrett won individual immunity. The rest of you guys, got nothing for you. And head back to camp. I'll see you at Tribal Council.
So I had this challenge in the bag. This challenge was mine to win. I forgot the letter of the answer, so I start writing out the answer after already gotten it wrong, so I had to run back anyways. So I had a huge lead over everybody else. That would have given me the victory, but Jared beat me by like 2 seconds, spelling out the letter as opposed to the whole answer. So that was obviously my fault.
During that challenge, when I was running back, there's a little mudslide there, and Nathan was running full speed coming towards me, and he eats it, wipes me out. He stops James from running, wipes me out, hits my knee. I stop Lydia from running behind me, and then Jarrett runs past them and gets ahead of them.
Nathan tried to slide tackle me. I don't know what the heck is up with this. Like this tribe is obviously not winning with dignity, so whatever. If I go home tonight, I went out fighting and I went out with my dignity. I didn't cheat with anybody. I didn't try to take anybody else out physically like that. So
Jeff lost me in the whole story, but in my head I was like, okay, just keep the important facts, you know, like the dates. His dad was, I think his dad was Scottish or something, and who he was under. I just kept the small little details in my head.
But while Jeff was saying the entire story of the game, I wasn't thinking about any of it. So every single question was a guess for me.
I'm gonna keep it 100% with you. I completely just wasn't listening. I didn't listen when Luke was telling the story. I basically just ignored everything except major names and dates, which, you know, is a strategy, and that's what it really was.
That challenge, I was already mad, so I wasn't really fully in it. I wasn't mad, I was just like frustrated. I was like, okay, well, I don't really have anything going for me now. So I basically guessed in every single question, and I got them all right until it came to the 5th one. And during the game, I saw some people passing information. I guess there was some gray areas in the game. I told Lydia, I was like, hey, I think they're cheating. Maybe we should try cheat. But at that point, it was already the end of the game, so we couldn't do anything about it.
The challenge today was the most work of any challenge we've done so far. I hate running. I was having a horrible time, but I needed somebody from my alliance to win. So I saw that Jarrett was in the lead, and I just started giving him my numbers. We had a quick little 3-second conversation. I was like, just write down this. He's like, what question is that? I'm like, I don't know, just freaking write M.
Nathan saw that I was, out of everyone on our tribe, the leader in that challenge, and so he told me what one of the answers was for, I think, one of the back questions. And so I ran. I completed all the first 3 near the front, and then I headed all the way back to the far back one. I looked at it. I verified very quickly, looking only at the answer that Nathan told me to make sure that was right. And then I came back, but I was able to save a lot more time because I didn't have to stop. I could keep running. And Nathan saved me there a little bit. I wasn't able to win individual immunity.
He was able to take the victory. Our alliance stays tight. There's no scrambling that needs to be done. And it continues our theme of Nikwasi bending the rules a tasteful amount so that we can stay unified as a tribe. Jarrett has the immunity necklace. No funny business has to happen.
there was, of course, some shady stuff going on from the opposing tribe. They were passing along information in transit, so like as they were running across, they were giving each other the answers.
Nathan was throwing some answers out, running by, Jarrett. I wish I had the idea. Screw it. I mean, we're out here to win $200. We're not out here to make friends. So if, other team members want to get pissed about it, then they can get pissed about it. I remember I was running and I just heard, Jarrett wins immunity, and I fell on the ground and I was just almost crying with happiness because I knew Jarrett was on my team somewhat, but better than James, so.
Not far enough to know, like, who's gonna be on top.
You wouldn't have had that attitude if I was wearing the necklace. You're right. You would have been scrambling.
You're right.
But how it went. Well, I'm plumb tuckered out. That was a good run.
I can't wait.
I know, I'm kind of glad I got to run in, like, after the disgusting things that have happened to our bodies, like hot sauce.
You know what? I kind of just want to tell you my plan that I had.
Go for it.
I'm on that already.
The two of us are free votes anyway.
Exactly. If you hadn't vote, since he didn't know it was coming for him, I was gonna make an all-girl alliance just to see how it played out, just because it was different. Listen. Oh no!
Yeah,
I don't know.
You would have Hannah, Isabella, Lydia, you.
It's impossible to
You could have made it work.
You would have been fine.
I don't know.
You would have been fine. You would have.
Even though you were always with Braden, I mean, we'd let
Brandon?
you guys go. Or Brandon, sorry.
Nobody's gotten his name.
I was gonna say that we could. I was gonna
Garrett.
say that we could all vote
Did you call
Jared
him
because he
Garrett?
didn't know it was coming. But then you guys voted Nathan. I was like, what is this? And then from there on, we were gonna vote you out, James. From there on, we were. Okay, he's not listening.
Well, I'm reading his lips. Jared likes to poke a lot. You like to poke a lot.
James.
Well,
Okay, James, you have to do what you have to do to win.
You're the biggest.
You have to do what you have to do to win.
It's only because he won that he's gloating even more.
Is that why you guys didn't vote?
Or is that
Is that why you didn't vote Jarrett?
I mean, he didn't know it was coming. We could have had him. And then for that,
No, there wouldn't have been enough for him.
yeah, would have.
No, because there's only one for him, and then there was like all the other ones were for.
Look, we should just. I mean, it doesn't matter if we listen anyway.
Yeah, Isabella was the majority
of
vote.
So.
You already missed your opportunity to do it because he's gonna get through this one, and then he's got his idol to play to the
I don't
fifth.
care anymore because we had an option to get Jared out. None of them listened. He had a new. And then they're denying that one of them knew. That one of them knew.
Just jumped over. Yeah.
I didn't know you guys, cause like you know, like we're family,
We were
so, like,
off.
I didn't know
we were off.
how you guys.
We said the second we came over, we said, "Hey, we're free votes." We literally had.
I didn't know how you guys.
Yeah. You missed it by 3 tribal councils.
I mean, it would have been really good.
When there's 4 of us.
I got a little you.
Raw was my type.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to talk to Luke about the drafting teams.
I mean, we had a strong. I mean, we had a strong team.
Yeah.
But we again, like you said, I'm not only saying this because you said it. We did have a lot of strong personalities as well.
Yeah.
Which was
Like the social game, we were super.
was gonna make us like. You can follow them if you want. You'll probably get more tea over there.
Everybody. He's like saying, Jared, you just like, Jared, you're like this, Jared, you're like that. And then I get back to him, he's like, you're like that. Even though like we're at like walking in the tripod and he's all the way down, so I'm like, you're just letting control.
What kind of a plan is that?
Yeah. Just gonna walk up.
Dude, Catalina.
Show the camera.
Catalina sealed her face.
She was doing so well, bro.
Screwed herself.
They're like, fine, let's do a 4v3.
Yeah, we win easily. And it's gonna be 4v2.
Yeah.
4v2, 4v1, easy.
Honestly, I'm happy with any of us 4v3.
I'm going to keep it 100 with you, Sam. I just don't want those 3. I don't want James to win. I don't want...
It'll be so much better after James.
And then now I don't want...
Dude, I was fine for Catalina.
It's fine.
I was 100% fine. I thought she did that. And she said she did it for fun.
We'll get her out.
We're gonna
Let's
get
get the rest of
James
Tuvalu or whatever.
James out and Lydia and then Kelly. Easy done.
Yep. And none of us have to worry.
Catalina goes first.
No, we gotta get James.
Dude. No.
Please get him out.
No.
I'm saying after James. After James. I think before Lydia.
But Lydia's kind of a jury goat at this point.
Yeah, Lydia's
No one's gonna go for Catalina. The girl who voted with us for the entire time and freaked out at the end. That's not marketable.
Go vote for Catalina.
Fair enough.
James, Catalina.
Oh, James, Catalina.
James.
Catalina, then James.
James,
all
then
all that
Catalina.
matters right now is James.
Okay, I'll do whatever. Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
And honestly, dude, for the 4 of us, it just goes down to who gets the thing.
That's gonna be like...
That'll be like the fun part because we're not gonna all get at each other's
No
throats.
one's gonna get butthurt. At the end of the day, if any of y'all win,
They're all so
like I have a job. I don't need $200. I was like, that's what they were saying. Everybody was like bickering, and who did I say it to? I said it to you. I was like, I got paid on Friday.
Yeah.
I was like,
I got paid for it, I didn't even go.
At this point. This is farther than I thought I'd make it.
Same. Honestly, I thought it was the first game.
Me, dude, I thought I was gonna be the one to go out first one.
Dude, it's just I get under their skin so easy. They give me all the power by reacting
that
like
literally
that.
means nothing.
Yeah, this
The
is fun.
only way that
They're
they win.
bluffing so hard.
Think about if James wins. And
Listen,
you know,
I told you, I'm gonna
listen how
kill
loud they're
myself.
being.
If James wins.
They're so flustered.
and you know that's what he wants. He's not gonna throw it like that.
Yeah, there's no way.
That's such bullcrap, dude. It's James. James yelled at a group of women for not hitting the volleyball right. It's like he's going to run
get that?
everyone.
Oh, one of you guys should have come to camp so bad before this last one. Like I think we said 2
They got
things.
so
and
mad at
they
me, I was
started
like-
going at each other.
Okay, so here's what happened.
Rough.
Should we? I kind of just want to like say everything I said up there on camera, so you can just
Wait till your exit
take it.
interview. No, your Ponderosa video.
Yeah, I'll literally say everything I said.
Oh my god.
I was laughing and they
There
were
was
so mad.
much tea.
I was just done. I was like,
No, we had the votes to vote him out had you not given him that necklace. At that point.
it's hard to see in the beginning. It really is.
Who convinced you to give him that necklace?
No one. I did because I knew you guys were gonna vote him in. Nathan, Matt. I don't know. I just.
Well, we voted Matt just to kind of like spook him.
Which then he played his idol.
And then he played his idol the next round, so that worked out really well.
Yeah.
That is true.
I think like just Nathan needed to go because before the game even started, like he already had Matthew, he already had Ralph.
No,
Yeah.
And like he just has them and they
no
just
idea
go for
why
No,
they
you set
switched
him
up
up
on
really well
Brendan
on
and
that tribe.
Jarrett.
He just had them the whole
We should have
time.
just stuck with Jarrett.
Yeah.
I don't think Lydia cares that much.
James is actually when it's second he compared me the second he compared me to his brother, I was like, he's taking it too far.
Yeah.
Dude, the whole idea of like you're running this camp is hilarious.
Every decision
it
we
all
made,
came off. It came from an assumption that just got fire and fire and fire, and they're like, Jared's running. I can't believe y'all
We've all decided to do it. But there hasn't been one time where you're like, I want to do this. It's all been like, hey, bro, you think we should
I'm like,
do this?
or like,
Even the
hey,
whole
this is what,
Brandon
this is, I was like,
thing. It was
this
all-
is what I
so we
think.
all went to each
all
other
went
and we're
I
like,
was like, this is what I think. And then somebody's like, this is what I
Did
think.
you hear what they
I'm like,
said?
okay, that
They
makes
were like,
sense.
the one
Play out
person
the
that wanted to
scenarios.
quit got voted out. So we did that smart.
Dude, that made me laugh so hard.
When they said that about Brandon?
Yeah, they were like the only one that was playing the game. I was like,
I'm so glad you wanted me to do it.
yeah.
I was nervous.
Yeah,
I was tired.
No, dude.
I
I
wasn't
saw you
even
running
mad.
by,
When I
and when you
heard-
asked me how much you had left, I was like, I got one left. And as soon as I think he's got it.
When I heard through the woods, I heard Jared wins me.
Me too.
I was like,
See, when
Me too.
I
I was like,
stopped running,
dude, I went to the bridge. And I was
You
like,
got excited.
I'm
busting it, dude.
break this.
I'm busting it.
If
Y'all?
if any of us break this alliance up, you're screwed.
I paced it, dude.
You're screwed.
James was like 15 yards ahead of me, and I blew by him to win. And he was on his last one too.
why didn't we vote? I need this to be passed.
And I'm scared we're somehow gonna get tricked.
no, we're not going
There's
to.
literally no way.
I know. It doesn't make sense.
Look, you have no life over there. And they're all gonna win in the end.
You think that any of them like you?
No.
If you vote with them, they're gonna turn on you immediately.
None
They-
of
because
us
they
are gonna
haven't-
vote for each other if we
Yeah.
get screwed over at this point.
Yeah.
I'll vote for James. Screw it.
Yeah, I'm voting James and then Catalina and then Lydia. And
Forgot to write the letter.
I was thinking about it too.
That's fine. We'll go out. I mean,
I told
we
you
know
one,
they're
but I think you
cheating. We know they're cheating. I did not do
Yeah,
it.
I figured you did, and I was like, dang. Because I saw you go to it, and I was like, oh man. That's when I got one.
Just kind of really.
I don't want to go to that like this.
Okay, we went down with
I'll
honor.
let you go. Less because it was just like.
Okay, I just.
I know. I don't want Raul winning the final.
One of you guys can just go with it.
Well, all three of us can just vote him out, and then us
Okay, and then
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what?
But he won't.
three. He won't.
He's.
If, unless,
I mean, I
unless,
just
if
said
he-
it
if
to
he
him. I
wants
said
it,
I said
He's
if he wants to,
What's
I
the
will.
word?
I will let you three
He's
have
being
it.
very stubborn.
Well, because he's not
Well, I
familiar
know-
with the show.
Yeah, he's not.
So
He's
he
just
thinks
so
he
annoying.
knows, but he's just
Raul
Raul.
has literally no idea.
Yeah, he doesn't. Know.
He didn't watch the show.
Like
He
him.
like watched it overnight while he was sleep exhausted, so he didn't really like get the social aspect. He watched the Heroes versus Villains season, which is not the best social
No.
game one. That one is just more like Russell and everybody else,
Russell and everything.
which is very much Jared this season.
I did
I
tell
told him
him.
that too. When we
I
were.
think for this lesson, we should just get him as triggered as possible.
When we were-
going in a bullying.
When we
Just get him triggered.
When I was trying to talk, I forgot who I was trying to talk to, and he was following me. I was like, Jared, stay there.
He has immunity.
I know.
He has
No,
immunity
he
and he
won
has
the
an idol,
challenge.
Oh, that's right.
right?
I forgot he won.
He has immunity and an idol, so like,
But if we shouldn't go for Raul because he's gonna.
He's not gonna switch. But he
We
wouldn't
should
play
at
his.
least try. He's
He
not gonna
wouldn't
go
play
for
his
us.
idol. Who do you think he plays idol for, Matt or Nathan? I think
Nathan
he's got
for
Nathan
sure.
more
He
under
spent
his
too
thumb.
much time with Nathan.
Okay.
Did you guys all bring your swimsuits?
Yes.
What are you planning on doing?
Just dunking you with water.
Can we just chill in the hot tub
Last thing I want to do is put a
while
swimsuit.
waiting?
Do you guys want to head down there and ask them if they have their swimsuit?
Yeah, not really.
James is incredibly competitive, and in a little bit of an unhealthy way. If you beat him, he will come up to you afterwards and say, "Hey, just so you know, the only reason that happened is because you exploited the game with illegitimate tactics. And if you had played the right way, then you would have allied with me and did exactly what I wanted you to do. But because you didn't do that, you're not smart. That's why I can't let him win. I'd rather him explain to me how I cheated than have him explain to me how he's a socially manipulative, super genius, star athlete who's capable of telling when everyone's lying."
And the whole time, nobody wanted James to win. Because if he would have won, his ego for the rest of the year would have just been way up here. Oh, I won Survivor. I won this.
Truth be told, I don't think anyone wants James to win this game. I think James is less so of a threat to win Survivor and more so of a threat to just bum me out if he gets too far.
I mean, it's time. I'm safe. James got to go. I mean, you know, after whatever that was, you know, he's too good at getting into people's brain. And, you know, with people like Jarrett on our team or, you know, Catalina, he's in both their heads, and I need him gone. I need him out.
We just need to get rid of James at this point. I think if we take him any farther, he's already disrupted so much in our tribe by getting Catalina on their side, and there's some distrust, whether we don't know if Raul's on our side at this point because he's been seen talking to James, and so we just need to get rid of James for everyone's sanity on our tribe.
Well, my thoughts going into tribal council are I'm a little nervous. You know, I could get backstabbed. We have a strong alliance to get some people out. Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but I think it should be good. It should go our way. And if it does, then, you know, I'll be sitting pretty. But I am nervous.
What are your thoughts going to tribal council?
I'm definitely going to be used. I know that for sure. I honestly might leave this round, but we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out and how my alliances will work.
What are your thoughts going into tribal council?
We got a plan.
Is that it? What are your thoughts going to tribal council?
Man, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the is going on, man. Then first we got this team over here and this team over here, and everything's just crazy, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Jeffrey!
Who's Jeffrey?
You.
My name's Jeff.
Slide onto that seat in front there.
Oh, sorry, Nathan.
It's such a beautiful day.
Yeah, man, that is one thing is you guys are not necessarily having to survive the elements out here. Nathan, would you say that makes it easier to focus on the game?
You know, it's survival-wise, it's a lot easier, but pacing-wise, it's insane. I mean, you don't get 5 minutes before you decide you got to vote somebody else out, and that's been really brutal. But overall, I think it's been a fun experience, so I'm enjoying myself.
Matthew, how do you feel about the game you've played so far? You think you've stood out enough for this jury when it comes time for their decision?
I mean, hopefully I make it to the top 3, and if I do, then hopefully. I like to think so.
So Jarrett, between the three of you, seems like you guys got something good going on there. Do you think that ends at some point?
Who's the three of us?
Nathan, Matthew, yourself.
And Raul.
4 of us.
Raul, all right, fair enough.
Yep.
Raul's thrown in there.
I mean, it ends when there's 4 people left. Then it becomes 3.
Then it becomes 3. So are you worried about being that fourth person kicked out there?
Yeah, of course.
It's all up to that immunity.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about it.
Yeah, we're locked in.
So, at that point, it should go to, the top 3 should go to the people that played the hardest. And that's what it'll come down to. Yeah. If I didn't play the hardest, then I should be on the jury. Sure.
Lydia, what do you think at this point? What do you think your focus is? You know, if you're staying in this game and you're trying to win over the jury, what kind of game are you trying to play right now?
I mean, from the get-go, I feel like I've had an uphill battle coming from our tribe and going into the merge with low numbers. So my game really has been what kind of alliance can I build on the other side. I mean, we got Catalina. There's still the bet for one more at the very end. But yeah, it's mostly been a scramble just because the way we came into the merge.
James, what are your thoughts on the last challenge? You came this close to winning.
I forgot the letter, and that's what cost me. Yeah, I lost.
Fortunately, Jared is the only one safe here, beating him out by just a hair. Catalina, you originally met, you got Jared over here saying these 4, right? You were originally in that group. What happened?
It's definitely hard to see the bigger picture, like in the beginning of the game, and like when we don't have that much time to discuss with people, and space, especially because like we all want to be united for the longest time, not giving everyone their own chance to think ahead of the game. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I didn't really have a chance of winning in the first place, but.
Yeah, well, it is interesting. Again, it feels like I'm almost talking to 3 Tougaloo tribe members. Seems like you've kind of been thrown in there.
Some people could have played more aggressive, I feel like, in the beginning, but they didn't, so.
Yeah, there weren't enough big moves to really warrant like a guaranteed
Pretty much
jury vote.
has just been a ride. Exactly what we thought.
Now, I know a couple of people
riding on
noticed.
one driver.
I know a couple of people noticed in that challenge. Obviously, nothing against it, but Jarrett and Nathan passing letters, passing answers. Do you think for the rest of these guys that are fighting for their own individual immunity, do you think that goes against you when it comes to challenging the jury? The fact that you guys needed help in that challenge?
Jarrett was in the lead, and then I needed somebody from our alliance to win.
So strategic play there.
Yeah.
Hoping that Jarrett will keep you along.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really out of shape, so gotta do what I gotta do.
So was the slide on purpose to knock me out?
Nah.
That was actually
because the slide was like at me with him in front.
He took my leg out, and then I grabbed James to not fall. You know.
It's probably like the mud's fault.
Well, you know what's interesting here? I see 3 people that are kind of on the way out over here. 3 people that feel pretty confident. They throw you in their role appropriately. You're sitting in the middle. If you want to say something about yourself in this game, this might just be the opportunity to do it. You know, because you have this position right now, and this goes for any one of you 3. You say you're a solid 4. You guys have been pretty strategic role. I feel like you've been pretty quiet at tribal councils and everything. You could go with these 3. You could go with these 3. You could make a big move in this game. Catalina.
I have something to say. I mean, I don't know if this is unfair, but you already know who has my vote, so honestly, since you've kind of had like a bit of a setback not really watching it, I guess it's kind of your fault in a way, but since you haven't really watched it, I'm giving you an opportunity to play back up if you just align yourself with us now. But I mean, again, that's the decision. I just want you to know that that's the decision I had to make last tribal council, and it was.
This one big move could get you all the jury votes.
You do have
Jeff's
a
been the
higher
one that's
chance.
done everything by himself. When all this has been by decision.
You do have a higher
By
chance
group.
of getting top
So,
3 with us than
you know.
them. But
I mean, if I make top 4, I made top 4.
But that's
not what we're going for.
because I'm
you
just
wanna win
told him
this?
what I.
Yeah.
You're gonna win this with
So you're
us 4?
saying that your 3 is tighter than our 3 when you flipped
You literally were with us the whole
from your
way.
loyalty. So you're the
until
only
last
one
round.
out of everyone.
I'm giving him a chance. It's up to him.
But
He
you're
can say
also
no
the
again.
same girl
I have a perfect chance here. 4v3.
And you're also the only one that has it.
Well, I wouldn't
You don't
say
see that because you haven't seen the show now.
but
I know. All right, can we just vote?
Man,
Can we just vote?
it is lively, but seems like, who knows, everybody seems to be set in their shoes, but once you go up to write a name down on that paper, you never know what's going to happen. So, it's time to vote.
Chris could earn a lot of jury votes for this move.
James, I'm sorry I played a better game than you. Better luck next year. James? I'm sorry for the loss. You played hard and I respected it. Not enough.
This one's for all my fallen comrades. It's finally time. We flushed out the idols. Despite all the drama, I think people are staying loyal today. So, it's been a pleasure.
Not that it matters, but just in case Rolo decides to do something last minute to get jury votes.
This doesn't really mean anything at all, but gotta try.
Just to stir it up. Make him nervous.
I'll go tally the votes. Alright. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and they'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Dragons.
Alright. I'll read the votes. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person who voted off will be asked to leave the tribal every single time. Tribal council area immediately. First vote. James. Second vote. James. Third vote, James. That's 3 votes, James. Matt. That's 3 James, 1 Matt. Matt. That's 3 James, 2 Matt. Matt. Tied up. 3 votes, James. 3 votes, Matt. Eighth person voted out of the Survivor Cherokee. James. James, proving its work.
Forever. How funny would that have been too?
To the loop.
Bye, James.
James, try this token.
Come on, Tougaloo.
All right. No big moves there, as expected. Getting close here, guys. Got nothing else for you? Head back to camp.
I knew I was going to get voted out either this one or the next one. I was really hoping that he would have flipped and then he would have 100% got my jury vote. But Raul didn't capitalize on the opportunity, and unfortunately Catalina flipped way too late in the game. I think had they both thought of trying to do their own game, they would have gotten a lot further in this game within, they're not going to make top 3. So at this point it's just see who flips first.